And then I guess we'll have some kind of intro music or something?
Possibly.
I guess I'll just wing what I'm going to say now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right, cool. What's the name of the show again?
Ass.
Okay.
Animation success
Talking
stories.
to your mic, fucker.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ass. That's the name of our show. We've just decided about 1 minute ago. It was originally Animation, but unfortunately we looked that up and that is taken. So we quickly decided on Animation Success Stories,
Not just ass.
which happens to have the
It's
acronym
abbreviated.
ASS. So that's the name of our show. Welcome to ASS. What we're going to do is we're going to attempt to talk to different people every week, talk about their role in the animation industry, how they got there, what their success stories are, thus the name ASS, and really what some of their hurdles, challenges were, and how they got to where they are now. My name's Anthony. I'm here with Sabrina and Brian. I guess we'll introduce ourselves now. Sabrina, who are you?
My name is Sabrina. Oh, am I going first? I thought Brian was going first.
Oh, you can go first. Oh, Brian, you want to go first?
You go first, Brian.
Do it, Brian.
Okay. Hi, my name's Brian Newton. I work in television animation for 12 years now, approximately. Currently, I'm directing on Rick and Morty season 3.
Yeah.
In fact,
Working
all three of
with
us
us.
work for
Yes.
Rick and Morty. I think we should rip that Band-Aid off right now.
Shout out to Rick and Morty.
Yeah, to the Rick and Morty crew, all
They all
our
know.
buds and comrades. Yeah, I've been working in business for about 12 years, doing everything from animatics to storyboarding to animation to retakes to character design.
What was your first?
My first gig was a little-known Discovery Kids show called Todd World when I was working at Mike Young Productions, currently Splash Entertainment, also formerly Moonscoop. They had a lot of different titles by now, but I got there right after my tenure at Otis College of Art and Design, where I got my I think I got a BA. Yeah, that's it. Bachelor's
Was it
Arts.
BS,
Be
BF,
something.
BA?
It wasn't a BS because that actually did work.
Was it bullshit?
No, it wasn't bullshit. Yeah, I went through. I think it was my business seminar teacher, Jan Nagel, actually hooked me up with this job, and me and another student, because she knew Mike Young personally, the guy who owned the studio. So on my final year of my final week of senior, when I was doing my thesis, she took me and the other student up to Mike Young Productions, like, hey, here's some young artists, they'd love working for you. He's like, cool, we'll get you hired right now and pay you internship wages. And I'm like, that's my first gig in the business. I haven't had a break since.
Nice. That's awesome,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Worked your way up the ladder. And by the way, I think it's important to say that this episode is just going to be us three, and occasionally Nick pops in. Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Nick's over there. He's helping us with our audio and our video equipment. And he'll pop his head in every once in a while and say hello. But this episode is just going to be Sabrina, Brian, and I. We're just going to talk about our stories and how we ended up in the animation industry. Just kind of hang out and chat and keep it casual. And next time, I promise we'll have a cool guest. But for episode 1, we're just going to chill. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
I have
That's
a
it.
question for Brian.
Go for it.
I want. Can you tell us what studios you've worked for?
I've worked for, as I mentioned, Mike Young, Cartoon Network a few times, Nickelodeon, Disney Consumer Products, Warner Brothers, and Starburns, and now Rick and Morty. So, yeah.
And then one more question.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite shows that you've worked for?
Ooh.
Yes, good question.
Yeah, so obviously Rick and Morty has been like a standout in my career, simply
Okay.
because like I was initially working on the pilot with like Dan, Justin, a few other people, and I was already a fan of Community, so I trust in like Harmon's ability to like produce a show, and Justin I've known for a little while, like through Channel 101, but I had no idea the show was going to be as popular as it is currently. So it's kind of like rivals The Simpsons. So Rick and Morty is really fun. I also worked for Teen Titans Go, almost at the same time. So Teen Titans Go is another experience where like it's one of the first shows I worked on, because after being in the business for a while, I was like, I know everybody on this production. Everybody's my friend, from like the character designers to the editors to the animation leads to some of the producers. Like, this
Nice.
is really good to just like work with your people you've known for a while.
And you storyboard?
Yeah, Titans I storyboard and directed on season 3.
Okay. Cool.
Very cool.
Cool.
You have way more experience than I do, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, Brian's been in this longer than we have.
I'm
For
old.
sure.
I'm old.
You're not old.
He's gonna be what, 70 soon?
Yep. I was fresh out of 68.
Yeah, fresh out of 68. Cool. Sabrina, you want to talk about yourself?
Anthony's like,
I want to go.
I want last.
I want to go next. So,
yeah.
let me ask you some questions, Sabrina.
Oh, okay, cool. Wait, my full name is Sabrina Matti.
Sabrina Matti. That's M-A-T-I.
Sabrina Ilsa Matti.
Ilsa, like in Frozen. No, that's
Ilsa.
Elsa.
Not Elsa. Ilsa. I-L-S-E.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
what are
Get it
your
right,
questions, Anthony?
I'm sorry that I'm not down on my Disney facts. Okay, so Sabrina, I've known you for a little while here, for at least like almost a year and a half at this point, maybe more. I think my first show, was one of your, maybe not your first, but I know you've been on a few before that. Tell me about your first animated show you worked on and how you got there, how you got that job.
So the very, very first show I was on, crazy enough, was actually Adventure Time.
Cool.
I was an intern on the show. And how I got there, okay, well, let me just state that I went to the Art Institute of North Hollywood. It's not Hollywood. They like to trick people. So when you hear AI Hollywood, it's AI North Hollywood.
Oh, it's right by my house.
Yeah.
I know where that is.
Yes, in North Hollywood.
Yeah,
By
that's
the
where I
Federal
live.
Bar.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about the Federal Bar
We
earlier.
were, yeah. I tried to go in there the other day. It was a $10 cover. Wrong. All right, sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Me and Nick actually went to the Art Institute.
Cool.
We don't have good stories about that school, but
Nice.
yeah, we'll get into that in some other podcast episode or whatever.
We'll do one about schools.
Yeah, we'll do one about schools. Yeah, so I went there for my bachelor's, and then my last year, I started feeling like I needed to look for internships. I think Nick got an internship at Cartoon Network, and then that kind of like just told me like, hey, maybe I should apply too, because if he got it, maybe I could get it too.
What?
And then
Cool.
he helped hook me up with a website to apply and everything, because I didn't even know how to go about it.
The Cartoon Network website?
Which was, it's not even Cartoon Network, it was Turner, and then like you go on Turner, and then job search and all this crap. And then I managed to be one of the lucky few to get a phone call, and then they're like, hey, we're having you interview on Adventure Time.
As an intern?
Yeah, I didn't even choose the show. Like they just
Wow.
were like, hey, we're gonna have you interview on Adventure Time. Is that
That's
okay?
really
And I was like,
lucky.
yeah,
Wow,
sure.
that's great.
I heard it like at some point, like some people got to choose which show they wanted to be on. Sometimes you don't get to choose. I guess it depends on the person, like or whoever contact they get, because some people get these interns
Sure.
or whatever.
What was your role as an intern on Adventure Time? You
So-
were fresh out of college, right?
Yes.
What was your
And
role?
what a lot of people think with these internships at Cartoon Network or whatever these studios are, they think that they're going to be doing art. That's not the case. Usually internships, they help out productions. And usually you're kind of like a little mini PA. Like you're an assistant to the production
cute.
assistant.
At a larger studio, I imagine that's the case for
Yes, yes. I don't know about like smaller studios or whatever. That wasn't my first.
Well, my first gig, sorry to interrupt,
You did-
I did do art.
Okay.
Because if you look up what Todd World looks like, it looks like a 5-year-old drew the show.
And I think it also comes to like how payment works too, and credit or something like that. Like I think there was too much of a liability, or like with Cartoon Network people, they didn't want people to.
Well, that's a union gig
Yes,
too. Yeah.
yes, union, yeah. Because I remember some instances where like some people did do art, and then the people came around and were like, "Hey, why wasn't my name in the credits, or why didn't I get credit for this?" And then Cartoon Network, like, or all these studios, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they've all had their share of stories. They're like, "Oh crap," and then they had to, deal with this one intern or whatever. I don't know. I heard quite a few stories like that, but yeah. So I mainly worked with production. And I did a lot of fun things. Like I learned a lot about like storyboarding, because I had to conform storyboards. I did, yeah, everybody, because that's
fun.
like the worst
Yeah.
thing ever. But it was great because since my school was mostly like the sucky part about my school was they didn't teach a lot of art. They taught mostly like 3D and then programs. So the way that benefited me was I was so tech savvy that at my internship, I was just super awesome at everything. And they liked that. They liked that I could like be thrown into anything and I could do whatever. So that did really well for me. And then I got like my name passed around or whatever, or they recommended me when I was done with my internship. And then that's how I got my second job as an actual like digital production assistant.
Oh, cool.
On Uncle Grandpa.
Yay.
And then
Nice.
from Uncle Grandpa, I went to Rick and Morty as an artist, as a cleanup artist.
So wait, what did you do on Uncle Grandpa again?
Digital production assistant.
And then
It's
how did you go from a digital PA on Uncle Grandpa to what was your first gig on Rick and Morty season 2?
Design cleanup.
Design
which
cleanup.
basically my title on Rick and Morty is weird because it's not. I don't just do cleanup. I work with the character designs a lot, and I do turnarounds. Sometimes I'll do special poses. Sometimes I'll like design like redresses or something like that, or
Cool.
special. Some incidentals I'll design every once in a while. So I'm just like an extra asset to the
So
character team.
for your first gig on Rick and Morty, did you need to do like a character test
Yes.
in order to get there?
Yes, I aimed for a character design position, and they
Okay.
told me, sorry you didn't get the position, but we'd liked your cleanup work a lot and your turnarounds a lot, so we would like for you to do that. And
This was
help us
season
out."
2, right?
Mhm.
Season 2. So there were like tons of people going for these jobs.
Oh yeah, I guess
Because
yeah,
already
that's
the
what
show
it
had
picked up.
taken off.
There were a lot of applicants on
Yeah,
season 2.
I was so
Yeah.
lucky. Yeah, I was.
I don't know
I'm
about luck. I
blessed.
think it's more like talent, Sabrina. Okay.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
But and then from Rick and Morty, it was to Animals, which is where I met you.
Where we met.
HBO Animals, and then that was really bad. How many are we gonna do? And then after that, it was Harmon Quest,
Mm-hmm.
and then back to Rick and Morty season 3.
Cool. Seems
Yeah.
like you had quite the roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and you know what I'm happy about is every single show that I've worked on, I've
Mm-hmm.
actually been a fan of. It's
Yeah, I was lucky enough. Same thing with me. Every show that I worked on, I had some kind of like cathartic connection to one way or
Yeah.
another.
That
which
is
I've really been lucky
That's not always typical because I've did the gamut on children's shows for a very long time before I got anything cool or noteworthy.
with. Oh yeah. So before you got to stuff you liked, you kind of trotted through the shit for a while.
Yeah, because I mean, Discovery Kids, if they're even still on network, try out any of their
Yeah,
shows.
I remember the shows they used to have on.
Yeah.
Like there was like one with a shark as the friend.
Oh, I remember that show. That came on right after the second show I worked
Kenny
on.
the shark.
Yeah, Kenny the
Yeah.
Shark came on right after Growing Up Creepy was my second show that I worked on.
Yeah, that's the only show I can remember from Discovery Kids, and I never really watched it. But.
I can go into why that network sucks so much, and I'll do that later.
Okay, we'll do that
we
later.
just have like an episode where we just crap on everything.
Then we can never have guests from
Schools.
people that
Wha-
work there.
Why else am I here?
Yeah, we're here.
We
to
want to
crap on
gossip.
you. It's
We
called
wanna vent
Ass. The
and
show is called
complain.
Ass.
Well, I was actually just thinking a little while ago how interesting behind-the-scene production stories are, more so than the actual like the actual stories we tell. Sometimes like what goes on behind the scenes of like not just animation but movies, television shows is
Sure.
probably way more fascinating. Like
There's
the
a lot,
politics and the history.
there's a
and the,
lot of
like-
politics that goes on behind the
Oh my
scenes, and I
God,
guess if we
yes.
do ever dive into talking about behind the scenes, we should be very careful to not drop names unless we know that person is dead or something.
Yeah.
Because we might want to have them as a guest.
I'm pretty sure Discovery Kids is a dead network, but yeah.
Okay, if the network's dead, we might as well drop names. Dead network, dead people. We're allowed to drop names.
Sure.
Sabrina, anything else you want to toss in there about like your success story? I know we're gonna dive more into the success stories and obstacles and whatnot, but about your first gigs and kind of crawling your way up.
I'm very thankful that I did experience the production side going into Cartoon Network, because that was my foot in the door, and a lot of people who do want to become artists and they have trouble finding their first art job, I'm always trying to tell them, you know what, don't just go for art, like try production first too. You you guys are learning all these programs and you don't know that you are more tech savvy with these programs than a lot of people that are in the industry now, because these people in the industry have been working in the industry for years, and sometimes new programs come out and they need help with how to use certain programs, especially
Yeah.
in production. production people, they have to keep up with the latest things, you know.
Yeah,
For sure, for sure.
So I'm very thankful that I came across that, and I'm very like proud I got to work with the people that I did over there. Never think that you're gonna get stuck there. If you don't plan on being stuck in production, don't think you're gonna get stuck there.
I'm stuck. No, I'm joking. I
Keep
like
practicing your art if you do want to be an artist. And then as far as anything else goes too, it's great foot in the door. Like if you want to become a writer, even voice acting. Like I got to I got to do circle takes.
Cool.
Describe what circle takes are.
Okay, so circle takes is where you go into sound recording booths with the voice actors, and then while the voice actors, they're reading the scripts, they like, you know, they'll read a line or so, and then they say like take 1, take 2, and then I'm writing this stuff down on the script, and I'm circling the ones that the director or the creator, the ones that they like and they plan on using for later.
Yeah.
And then eventually these circle takes are like submitted to the dialogue editor so they can pull just those takes, and then, you know, the animatic editor can take those takes and edit it together for the animatic, so on and so forth.
Hopefully everyone knows what an animatic is that's watching this.
Yeah,
or
we'll
listening.
catch
We'll
it.
go
We'll
in
catch
later.
them up on
We're
that.
gonna touch up on all this terminology, but it was cool. So I got to meet the voice actors, and met a lot where like they even, you know, like started from a weird place too. So
Everyone
we're
does.
gonna bring some on. Like just wait. It's not just
We're
art.
gonna get some good people.
Yeah, we want to just touch up on everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my
Cool.
closing.
That's a cool story. It
Yeah.
seems like a really solid success story.
And I'm
Ooh.
still young. I'm like 24. I like
She's still
started
young.
really young.
Well, what about you, Mr. Anthony?
As for my success story,
Of course.
it's kind of an interesting one. I'm really new to the industry. I've actually only been working in animation for, let's see, almost 2 years at this point. That's about it. My first show, as Sabrina mentioned before, she worked on it as well, was Animals. And
That was your first?
That was my first show. Yeah.
Oh crap.
Before Animals, I was Uber driving out in LA for a year, and before that, I was in New Jersey, and I was like,
Are you still an Uber?
What was
Are
that?
you still an Uber driver?
You know what? I kind of want to still be an Uber driver every once in a while. I tried to do it on Halloween, and my thing expired since I haven't done it for so long, and they didn't let me drive.
If anyone
I would've-
catches him, anybody?
I would have got
Uber
like
driver.
$500. Last year on Halloween, I got
God.
I got $500.
Oh wow.
It's great, man. Halloween's a crazy night. All right, but it's not about Uber right now.
I know. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, before I was out in LA, doing the Uber for a year, I was back in New Jersey. I was an editor and I was a production assistant, and I did some camera work, not too much. I did a little bit of B camera and some DP stuff, but mostly I was an editor and a PA out in Jersey. I also had some other jobs, part-time jobs. I actually taught martial arts for like, I guess, I don't know, 7 years or 8 years or something.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was like my main money-making job. And I wanted to work in the industry, in the entertainment industry, but I didn't really know how to do it. So I kind of weaseled my way in slowly. But Animals was my first gig in the animation world. The way I got that gig was the production manager on Animals, Andrew Racho, awesome guy. I stayed with him and his girlfriend at the time, maybe 3 years prior to that, since I knew his, at the time, girlfriend from an animation convention I went to, probably 2009, CTN Animation Expo.
Yeah, it's out here in Burbank.
Yeah, so I just recommend going to conventions, meeting people. It was kind of the thing I did on a whim. So 2000, maybe not 9, maybe let's say 11. I don't know what it was. I think it was 2011. I kind of flew out to Los Angeles from New Jersey on a complete whim. I had an idea for a cartoon that I was making. I drew up a really primitive pamphlet with horribly designed characters all by myself. It was like a threefold pamphlet. I had characters on one flap. I had environments on another flap. I had story ideas. It was a disgusting looking thing. I hope it never sees the light of day. But I designed it myself, and I took it to the CTN Animation Expo. Flew there on my last dime. Maybe not my last dime, but I'm being exaggerating.
You're embellishing. It's a
I'm
story.
embellishing a little bit. I flew there in rags.
I believe that.
Yeah, so I got to the CTN, and I was just kind of walking around trying to meet people, make connections, because I knew I loved animation. I knew I wanted to work in the entertainment industry, so I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of went there, threw my pamphlet at everyone that would look at it, and I threw it at this young woman named Scout Raskin, who happens to be the production manager on Rick and Morty right now.
For season 3, yes.
For season 3. I threw it at her, and I flew back to Jersey with no luck. I thought, oh, you know, at least I met people and made connections. About a week later, she called me, and she's like, hey, I like this. I want to help you make it. And I'm like, what, really? This shitty thing? Okay. So we developed it, and eventually we became good friends. I flew out to L.A. I stayed with her just to kind of hang out and meet people out here. Her boyfriend at the time happened to be Andrew Racho, who was the production manager on Animals. And then fast forward 3 years later, I officially moved to L.A., not just kind of staying on a whim. I officially moved here. I got all my stuff. I hopped on a Greyhound, and I packed a bag, went to L.A., gave everyone about 2 weeks' notice that I was leaving. I was staying with Scout again. And Andrew Racho called me. He's like, hey, man, you want a job on Animals?
Didn't you say that you actually met Mike and Phil, the creators of Animals?
Oh, yeah, that goes back to Uber. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it kind of circles back to Uber. So Andrew Racho was nice enough to help me get a job on Animals. Just a connection that I had, which I was really lucky to have. But as far as the creators of Animals, Mike Luciano and Phil Matarese, I gave them an Uber ride, completely coincidentally.
That's such an LA story.
About maybe 4 to 5 months prior to getting that job. They didn't remember me. I didn't remember them.
Were they hammered? Just kidding.
But they probably were. But when I went in there and I started looking at the art, and I was thinking, wait a second. This story, it sounds really familiar. Because in the Uber, they actually told me about their cartoon. Either they just sold or they were trying to sell. I forget what the story was. But they told me about their cartoon about animals living in New York City. And I actually, later that day, maybe the next day, I looked up their like primitive shorts that they made prior to the show. Like they were maybe 5-minute, 3-minute shorts. And they were embedded in my brain. So fast forward again, 6 months later, I'm there for my first day at the job. I'm looking around at the art. I'm like, where have I seen this before? And then I make the connection that I gave them an Uber ride, like 5-6 months prior to that.
That's so.
And they were, and after I reminded them, they remembered me because I had like stupid signs in my car that said,
The
"Kid,
candy
grab
sign?
some candy."
That's so
and
creepy.
Like, yo, yeah, it was just pretty creepy.
Now that I think about it, you have a candy sign.
I still,
in
you
your
know
car.
what's even
I have some
creepier is
candy.
I still have it, even though I don't.
Yeah,
don't
I
drive
noticed.
Uber anymore.
Didn't I take some the other day? I
That's the creepy part.
was like, Starburst!
Yeah, I should probably take that out of there.
How
now.
old are those Starbursts?
Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Let's
Yeah.
go with that. Yeah, but that's more or less. I know I kind of jumped all over the place. My quote unquote success story is I just made a bunch of connections early on. I kind of just followed my heart. I flew out here with almost nothing and no plan. Just wanted to be involved in it. And eventually, I got a foot in the door, and I just kept riding that wave.
Yeah.
And-
Well, the thing that all three of us have in common is just the connections. Like,
Yeah.
all three of us got our first gigs based on a personal connection that we had. I mean,
Yeah.
the two of us went through school, and Ann just kind of came out here on a whim.
Funny story.
to
I didn't
pursue
really.
animation.
I didn't really get that internship through anybody. I actually was coined for that internship.
Coin?
But everything after that, yeah, I had some sort of connection. Kind
Oh,
of
you mean the one that
influencing
you submitted for Cartoon Network?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was literally I just like my resume was amongst many, and they just so happened to pick my resume. But I didn't know anybody at Cartoon Network that could give me like a foot in or something until like.
Well, you
after.
mentioned Nick gave you the website.
Yeah, he gave. I mean, but he didn't he didn't recommend me over
Okay.
there. You know what I mean?
So I see.
Like he gave me the website to like know where to sign up and everything.
Yeah.
But then like after that, like my first job, I know the producer of Uncle Grandpa, she was best friends with one of my teachers from college, and this teacher loved me.
Okay.
So thank God. Be nice to your teachers.
Hubba hubba.
Like I know some of them can be annoying, but still be nice to them.
Yeah, be nice to your teachers. Meet people. Talk to people.
Respect everybody.
We're going to take a quick break and fix some technical problems. We'll be back in 1 minute. Cool. And we're back. Sorry about that. This is our, we're getting our sea legs still on podcasting. We're figuring out how all of our equipment works and whatnot, but I think we're good. I think we're back. And we were in the middle of a conversation about I know Brian was talking about what he did. Sabrina was talking about what she did, and then I was in the middle of talking about my quote unquote ass animation success story. Let's see. Someone remind me where I left off.
You talked. You basically said how you got your job on Animals, which was your first job.
Oh, right. I got my job on Animals through a friend, through connections, and through moderate talent. Very small. And then from Animals, I pretty much learned. I kind of used Animals as an experience to learn what I needed to do my job.
You were great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My official title on Animals was a design coordinator.
Okay.
But I didn't, to be honest, going in my first day, I had no idea what I needed to do. I had no clue. The person who hired me, who helped me get the gig, said, "Hey, if you know some Photoshop and you're a relatively organized person, you'll be fine." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Basically, within a week, I figured out what I needed to do. I was lucky enough to have another design coordinator there with me, who basically taught me the ropes. But strangely enough, after 2 weeks, he ended up quitting.
I remember that.
And then we got another design coordinator to help me out as well. So it was two of us coordinating the show, and she was just phenomenal. Everything I know about coordinating a show, I learned from her. She's just the best. From Animals, since I basically got my sea legs on Animals and I figured out what I needed to do, I was asked through the Starburns family to move on to a show called Harmon Quest, season 1. And I was the only coordinator on that show, and I basically got to organize it my way, and it went incredibly smoothly. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I was asked to move on to Rick and Morty, since Rick and Morty is pseudo-associated with Starburns.
Yeah, we all kind of bounced around from those
Yeah,
shows.
Rick and Morty is no longer with Starburns, but at one point, Starburns and Rick and Morty were all in the same building.
Really, the same building through the first 2 seasons, but only officially associated for season 1.
Yeah, and when
Indeed.
Rick and Morty, the first season, went on hiatus, like all of us kind of migrated together to these shows.
Even
Like,
after season 2.
oh, sorry, season 2. I'm sorry, yes, season 2. So, because of the long hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and we all move around in groups.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then after, believe it or not, as we said in the beginning, we all work on Rick and Morty right now. Brian's the director, I'm a coordinator, and Sabrina is a character designer, character cleanup. But this week is actually, upcoming week's my last week on Rick and Morty, because after that, I'm moving on to Harmon Quest Season 2, which is going to be a lot of fun. If you liked Harmon Quest Season 1, you'll probably like Harmon Quest Season 2.
I'm hoping I get to follow you.
Yeah, I hope so too. It should be a good time.
You're going to be design coordinating on Harmon Quest Season 2 as well?
I will be. I'll be a production coordinator. I mean, I'm officially a design coordinator, but looking at like what we're doing on Rick and Morty and the coordination end of things, and what I did on Harmon Quest and Animals, like every show, what a coordinator's duties are slightly different, and I definitely have the most responsibilities on Harmon Quest just because it's such a small production staff. It was literally 3, maybe 4 production people on Harmon Quest, whereas Rick and Morty has like 4, 5, 6, 7.
And there's something I want to say to that. Like, you look at the quality behind Rick and Morty, not just the talent involved, but the amount of people are involved in the show like that.
For sure.
There's a lot more money involved versus Harmon Quest. So you can tell, like, it's a limited production, and part of that is, like,
time.
you have to, like, make certain concessions.
Yeah.
Stylistically and just on the production end.
Oh yeah, it's a way smaller budget than Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty right now is Adult Swim Golden Child. Yeah. You know, like
Not the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah. Not the Eddie.
That's
Murphy
for the
movie.
old people in the audience.
You guys know what we're talking about. That was a good movie. Actually, no, it was okay.
It was okay.
It was
Yeah.
alright. Not the best. But I was gonna say about Rick and Morty versus Harmon Quest. I know right now Harmon Quest, you know, they're the most popular show on CISO, which is basically like saying you're the smartest guy with a brain injury. It's really, you know, no one really watches CISO, unfortunately, but it is the most popular show on that channel. By the way, if you don't know, CISO is a comedy streaming service, which is like a rival to Hulu, Netflix, that kind of thing. It's only $3 or $4 a month, and it's all comedy. You get what do you get? Like all SNL, all Monty Python, that kind of stuff. A lot of sketch shows, and yeah, it's
Free
some
trial
content.
for 30 days.
They're not sponsoring us, but if they want to,
If you
Yeah,
wanna
if you
watch
want to check
Harmon
it out,
Quest.
there's a free trial.
Admittedly, I need to. I have not watched
Yeah.
Harmon Quest.
it's a pretty cool show. I mean, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, If you like,
I do. I like those.
like
if
improv?
you like improv, if you
Yes.
like animation, if you like Dan Harmon and his escapades and shenanigans,
his podcast crew.
you'll love it. Yeah, his
Um,
whole,
Harmontown.
Harmontown, yeah.
Yeah, those are all Harmontown.
Oh yeah,
people.
I've been to a few Harmontown.
Yeah.
yeah. Essentially, it's that last bit of Harmontown where they play D&D. It's stretched out into like a half-hour show.
Right.
Mhm.
Spencer.
Spencer's the best. Maybe
It's
we
his
can
show.
interview Spencer one day.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy. He'd do it. I think he'd do it.
Yeah, Spencer should do it.
That'd be fun.
Cool.
We'll
So
do
I mean,
D&D at the end of that one.
that'd
Anyways.
be fun. That's essentially my story, more or less abbreviated, and a lot of just mumbling over myself as well. But that more or less that's it. Connections, and then just riding the wave. That's how it works.
Thank you, Anthony.
Oh, you're welcome. So okay,
And then we have
what are you
one
gonna say?
last person, no?
Oh yeah, let's bring Nick up here. Hey Nick,
Last but not least,
Nick, come on, grab the mic. There's a mic over there.
this is our audio engineer.
I guess sure. Let's call him that.
He's the guy that's checking all of our equipment to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Yeah. How's it going, Nick?
Yeah, how's it
Oh
going?
wow, all
What a
four of
mix.
us can fit on this.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
this
good.
got intimate.
Still a little room.
Yeah,
We
we
can
can
know
probably
each other
fit
here.
a fourth,
I think I can feel Brian's foot.
like a bulimic. We can fit a bulimic person on here still.
Yeah,
if
totally.
necessary.
It's like a fiver.
All right. Oh,
All right, so
Okay.
Nick, you're helping us out with this podcast, and we really appreciate your help.
Yeah, no problem.
We all have. None of us have any idea what we're doing, and this is just us trying to test the waters and see, how to do this. That's why we're kind of mumbling over each other and like stumbling over everything
tripping
we
over
do.
wires.
Tripping over wires, sneezing into microphones, scratching our butts with the mic. A lot of weird stuff. I did that a few times. Sabrina, I'll pretend,
don't have to
I'll
know.
pretend it wasn't you. So, Nick, tell us about yourself.
Well, I've known Sabrina since college. I didn't believe she existed for the first year
Why's that?
because I only took night classes. And she only took morning classes. So every time I'd show up, they'd be like, all my friends would be like, "Oh, you just missed Sabrina." I'm just like, for a whole year this happened. So at a certain point, I was just like, I think my friends are fucking with me. There's no way this is true. This person does not exist.
I had to take a picture of my ID and send it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Hey,
she
Sabrina,
did. She did.
Do you exist, Sabrina?
Do I, Anthony?
I still
No
question
way.
that every night, whether she's real
I
or
still
not.
question it myself.
Wow, wow, wow.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. Me and Sabrina have worked together a little bit.
Yes.
We did some freelance for Cartoon Network.
Yes. And I told them that you got an internship at
Yeah,
Cartoon
yeah,
Network.
yeah.
What show did you intern on?
I interned on Ben 10. It was great, great experience. I randomly applied online. They called me up in the 10 in the morning. I was still asleep.
Nice.
The HR lady was like, "Oh, you don't seem very enthusiastic about this." I'm just like, I'm still asleep, and I don't even remember applying, but I guess I did.
Nice. But I think at one point Sabrina told me that you guys worked on the regular show together. Is that true?
Oh,
We did.
Okay, so yeah, you go into that. We worked on something before that.
We had worked on Uncle Grandpa. We did an episode of what was it, guest directed shorts. We did the intro for it.
Oh, cool.
Oh
Oh, right. That's when
It was a
Penn Ward
3D.
did one. And
Yeah,
there was
Penn Ward, Nick Cross.
Nick
and
Cross did the interstitials. That was.
It was
they
a
were
great
gorgeous.
episode. So
Nick is a phenomenal 3D artist over here.
yeah,
So
I'm pretty good.
and they didn't know that we they didn't
And
I
humble too.
I think I told Pete at one point. I was like, "Oh, I know somebody who does really good 3D," and then they saw some of his work already, and then they're like, "Yo, maybe you can get your friend to do a 3D intro or something for us for our guest directed short."
Yeah,
episode."
yeah, and then a year went by and nothing happened. And
Yeah.
then I met Pete at a convention, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm Sabrina's friend," and I'm just getting all these comic books signed. And I'm like, yeah, and then just as I'm about to leave, I'm like, yeah, I did that one fan art thing with the 3D thing. He's like, that was you, and then he gave me his email right there and told me
Oh,
to
nice.
contact him.
Wow. And then you were able to do an intro for the.
Yeah. I'm
show.
basically we just reproduced the regular intro in 3D, so it was pretty
Oh,
it
the
was pretty
regular show?
straightforward. No, not the regular
Oh,
show.
no.
just
Oh,
the-
sorry.
the
You said
main
regular, I'm
intro
like, huh?
for
Uncle
Uncle
Grandpa.
Grandpa, we just
Yes.
reproduced it in 3D. So it was just a lot of modeling and layout. And then because we did that one, they called us up a few months later to do.
Cartoon Network themselves. It wasn't
yeah.
just they
Yeah,
were like,
apparently,
"Oh, we were told."
Apparently it was oh my god, I
The
feel
chief
so bad.
executive or something.
Brian
right?
Miller
Yeah.
had went to the producers of regular show were looking for some animators, and Brian Miller had remembered us and recommended us to
They were like, we have these
the-
artists that like got something done in like 2 months or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I don't know how long.
And so
it
they
took.
called us up and like, are you guys a company? Are you guys just like a couple people? Like,
What?
what's
They
going
thought-
on?
They thought you and Sabrina were a whole company.
Yeah.
You guys could be.
Yeah, right.
You guys could be making
It turned out
dough
pretty
right
cool.
now.
We worked on the movie, the
Regular
intro
show
for the
movie?
movie. Yeah. Well, downside, we did not get credited in the credits. Made us very
It
sad.
was all about the experience and getting
JG,
to
we're
see.
coming after
We
you.
got
Yeah.
to see our work on the
Yeah.
big theater screen.
Oh,
It
we
was
did. We
pretty
got
cool.
tickets to go see it at the Downtown
Yeah.
Independent.
We got
Oh, cool.
invited to
They
the
did.
premiere.
They did like a big screening.
Oh, it was
premiere.
phenomenal. And then we got to harass the creator at the
Oh,
after
JG?
party.
Oh, JG
Yeah,
Quintel?
Yeah.
Oh, and then also we got to chat with him a lot in his office too at work.
Oh, yeah,
I never
man, he's
really
got a
sat
cool
in his
office.
office. He
It's very
has like
tiny.
a bunch of like
It's like a broom
consoles, old
closet.
consoles.
What?
There's a Sega Genesis up in there. I was like, ah,
There's no
and an
surprise.
Atari too in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
Pretty
god.
cool. So you guys have been friends ever since?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of. I'm just kidding.
A few fights in between there.
Fist fights?
Oh yeah.
We're
yeah,
frenemies.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. You guys. That seems like you guys have quite the sturdy backstory there.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's still doing freelance work. He's still doing work for music videos and
Yeah, I do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm working on a movie trailer at the moment and some comic books.
Cool.
You used to work at the company I started at.
Yeah, I used to work at the company Brian started at, which is sort of like my first real job at a real studio.
Same.
Mike, well, I mean, it's simpler to call them Mike Young Productions because that's what everyone knows them as.
Right.
But they're Splash Entertainment now. But I worked for like a smaller company that worked inside their company called Kabillion, which was a TV channel. A nice little kids channel, just Power Rangers and Sonic.
Cool.
That's how we got our ratings.
Nice, man. Sounds good. Well, Nick, we thoroughly appreciate you helping us with
Yeah, no
our
problem.
audio and video
and
stuff.
if one of us ever can't come one day or something, he's gonna fill in for us.
Yeah.
He's gonna pretend that
You'll see
he's us.
some more of me, but with my clothes on though.
Aw. This is
Lucky
what you're-
you guys.
You're saying you don't have your clothes on right
Well,
now?
they're going to see more of me, but
Oh, okay.
not
The
like.
implications.
He just
Yeah.
means
You
he'll
really have to
wear
explain this joke.
he'll wear shorter shorts. and, and
Comment if you want shorter shorts.
like if you want him to wear his
Yeah.
thong. Comment
Yeah.
if you want him to wear a
Yeah,
That's all
you
we're
guys
gonna
should
get
suggest
now.
what we should wear.
All right, nice. Well, thanks again, Nick. That's really nice of you to help us out. You're a cool guy, in your heart and in your soul, in your fart and in
Superman.
your soul.
You're Superman.
All right, cool. Sabrina, you have some other stuff to say. And by the way, again, we're getting our sea legs, so I know this is a little chaotic and all over the place. So just bear with us. Sabrina, what do you got to say?
So we want to squeeze things in really quick right now. We were hoping to do a lot more, but we're just gonna have to, just because we didn't know how long this was gonna take exactly. But mainly what we want to do for this podcast for you guys, how the layout is gonna be, the format is gonna be. We want to start the podcast out with post-it drawings. Like we want to have our guests come
Cool.
in, and we're gonna probably add our own to this episode.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we want to have every guest draw on a post-it, and then we're gonna have a wall of over here. You can't see the wall, but it's right there, and we're gonna put post-it drawings all up on that wall. And then at some point, if we fill up the wall or something, like we're gonna do giveaways to you guys.
That sounds like a cool idea.
Let's see.
So we can, if we fill up an entire wall with Post-its, if that happens, I guess we can have like a guest do a couple, right? We can have like a guest come in and do like a few.
If they want to, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because
If they're good at it.
that's probably how we'll end up filling up a wall. Like if that does happen, if we fill up a wall, we can put them all like on a cardboard and like auction off the cardboard or something. It'll have like a bunch of Rick and Morty artists and
Some
voice
people are,
actors
like,
and
some people, their talent is just post-it drawings. They could just like keep going forever. So
it's
it's up to them. They'll probably do some like while they're talking the whole entire time.
Cool.
You never know. And then we want to mainly, this whole podcast is about success stories. We want to make it about people who are in production, people who are in art, voice actors, writers, anyone in the animation industry. We want to hope to get everybody here. Anybody like you guys suggest to bring in, or maybe we can reach out to them, or we have a lot of buddies of our own we want to bring. And then we're gonna go
Buddies.
ask them how they got into this business, whether it was like school, whether it was just like they just got in through a contact, or just like some weird story.
We have a pretty full short list.
Yeah,
It's a full short list, so it's not a short list.
yeah.
It's a short full list.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Behind the scenes stories, any fun stories, you know, we want to hang out with these people and just like mainly just shoot the shit with these people. You know, we want to just get to know these people.
Indeed. We really want to, what we're trying to do with this podcast is hear how anyone that is successful in the industry, the challenges that they had to overcome, the hurdles that they had to climb, what they needed to do to get where they are, and maybe even tell us about that one point where they thought they were going to just give up and put their tail between their legs and crawl into a hole and die, but they decided to crawl out and go a little further, and that's when they hit their point of success. We just want to hear inspirational stories that maybe will make some people listening to this that, you know, have some reservations, are a little reticent about getting into the industry, but are like, you know what, I heard that dude talk about his shit, and now I'm like gung-ho.
Yeah,
That might be
we
good.
hope to inspire you guys.
Or the opposite, like give you guys words of caution.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe-
maybe you don't have the heart for it.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Or how to network and how not to network. You know, stuff like anything that's just going to be helpful for you.
Sure.
And then we want to have some fan interaction with you guys. We want you guys to send questions in every single time we have a guest. So we can have these questions ready beforehand for these guests. And also we want to do giveaways. We want to do contests or something with you guys. We want to do games with our guests. Any like little fun challenges or something like to wrap up.
Sabrina made me buy these
Bean
today.
Boozled.
It's
We're
like-
not gonna do it today. Maybe next time.
Beans that taste like vomit and shit.
Well,
Oh, that's what this is.
you're
And,
gonna love it, Brian.
I don't know, but she's
a
like,
fun
she
game.
texts me, she's like, go buy Bean Boozled.
It's
I'm
a
like,
fun game. I
okay.
tried it and it's, oh my god, it's terrible but fun. But yeah, we want to play some fun games with them just to get some laughs in. Yeah, we're gonna hopefully release this on YouTube. We're gonna have a
Sure.
Facebook. We're gonna have iTunes,
Tumblr.
Tumblr, maybe
Tumble.
an Instagram for like little pictures of our sessions or with these people. Twitter account.
Hashtag ass.
Hashtag ass. That's gonna be our infamous hashtag.
Yeah.
Unless we change the name. If you have a better name, please let us
I like
know.
ass.
I mean, well, I think we all do here.
There you go.
Right, Sabrina?
Yes. I
Yes.
love ass. And if you guys want to check us out and on our personal sites or personal artwork or something, we'll have links provided to you for you guys down below
For sure.
to check out our own stuff. And yeah.
So next week, or not next week, it'll probably be every other week or something along those lines. But next podcast you guys hear, we're going to have a guest in studio. It's not going to be as chaotic. It'll be more streamlined, a little easier to follow. Everything will be in order. There won't be any more technical issues. And hopefully it'll be an inspirational, funny, fun podcast / YouTube video for everyone that experiences
We're
it.
aiming for twice a month release.
That sounds good.
We're aiming for that. We might break up the videos so we can like I don't know, the challenges can be like released another week or something like that. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll work it
We'll
out.
play with it. They don't care about that.
Yeah. Okay.
They just
I'm
care
just
about
trying
the
to
end
let them know what
result.
we're gonna do.
They care about the end result.
Our next guest is gonna most likely be who?
Potentially Matt
maybe-
Danner.
Maybe Danner, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
The guy who is letting us so graciously record in his amazing
We are in
office.
we are in the fabulous Dannerland Studios.
Nerd
That's what
space.
it's called.
Dannerland Studios. This is amazing. Like, maybe at one point we'll take the camera and we'll pan around this room. There's like a whole shelf dedicated to One Piece. There's some Mega Man. There's some
We'll take pictures and
like,
put it on
Tezuka
Instagram.
stuff. And it's just
Put it on Facebook.
Muppet
Sock
shit
Monkey.
Stuff.
Unfortunately,
Sock
these
Monkey.
won't be up for giveaways. I'm sorry.
No, you can't have these.
You can't have it.
If you want this stuff, like the video, share the video if you want that stuff.
Oh, one last thing. Sorry, one last thing. We hope in the future, if there's anybody that wants to sponsor us or anything, we're really open to that. Mainly just because in the future we hope to get better equipment, maybe some cool graphics or something, or maybe some more things for you guys. We want to make it more fun and look more fun for you guys and make it look more legit. But yeah,
Sounds good.
the
And maybe get some better guests if we have better
better,
graphics.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we're gonna
Better
have to start
guests?
paying
Better
guests
guests, yeah.
to come.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
I
good
mean,
guests, man.
I think we already have some pretty standard guesses that I'm sure some of you might figure out who we may have on the podcast in the future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh yes.
Yeah. if you help us, we can help you. Is
John
essentially what we're
Travolta.
saying. Yes, that's a good call.
Travolta.
Next week, John Travolta.
so
stay tuned.
relevant.
'cause look who's talking.
Yeah, yeah. I think the fourth Look Who's Talking is coming out next month. So, no, not really. That would be great.
All right, is that it? Does anyone have
I
any
think
last?
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. I mean, like we've said a few times, this is a good test run. We know what we're doing now. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the chaos that ensued during this podcast. Next week or next time you listen to us, we're gonna have a guest. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk to them. You're gonna learn a lot more than you know now. I guarantee it.
And please, if you have any suggestions for any segments or something, go ahead and send in your stuff and questions and all that stuff and all that good stuff.
You want to sign us out, Anthony?
Yep. Oh, we should all say our names on our sign out. So once again, my name's Anthony Alfonso,
Sabrina Matty.
Brian Newton.
and I hope you enjoyed
That's
our
ass.
podcast. This is ass. If only our initials were also ass, that would be great.
Anthony,
almost.
Sabrina.
Sorry,
Damn
I
it!
fucked it up.
Oh, Brian, can we change?
fucked it
Can
up.
we change your name to Scion?
What? What?
Scion.
Do we have an S? We don't have an S. Okay.
No.
We'll
Or
figure
ass,
it out.
That's all right. We're good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and
Thank
we'll see you
you.
next time.
Bye.
Thanks. Peace.